Alright guys, so let's stop for a minute and talk about your teammates. Whether you're a bronze, silver, gold, plat player, it doesn't matter. Queuing up for a ranked game generally means that you're going to be placed with other players whose accounts represent the same skill level as your own. There are of course going to be games where you play with or against a smurf, but let's focus on the vast majority of your games. Each one of these 9 players that you've been placed with all have the same goal as you, to win games and to gain elo. Just because someone may not play well enough to carry in your game doesn't mean that they're a bad player. Everyone has bad games, and as good as it may feel to let off some steam flaming a player for a death or a bad play that they've made, not only are you making your teammates feel like shit, every time you abuse someone on your team in game, you're effectively tilting yourself and those around you. You're going to make your own teammates, the very guys who are trying to help you gain elo, not want to play with you anymore. As much as solo queue can make you feel like it, your own team is not the enemy. They're not mindless trolls whose sole intention is to make you lose. By abusing your own team and carrying on, you are giving up your game. It doesn't matter if a player on your team isn't performing as well as you would like. The only thing you can control is how well you yourself play. How well you can carry your own games through kills, tower kills, and assists, and by playing better than the real enemy, which is the other team. Solo queue in League of Legends is effectively a game of statistics. It sounds so obvious to say this, but if you are able to consistently play well and carry games, you will rise. If you play 5 games every day and win 3 of those games, you will eventually reach Diamond. And that's a fact. The best players in the world have a 60% win ratio. Me personally, after taking a long break from the game, I'm currently in Plat 5. I win 53% of my games. That means for every 100 games that I play against people of a Plat skill level, odds are I will win 3 more than I lose. If I was to all of a sudden have my account dropped by right to bronze, I would win closer to 60 to 70% of my games until I was back to a level that my skills were evenly matched by my opponent. My win rate would then slowly drop back closer to 50% because that's how the game is designed. If you win more than 50% of your games, you're placed with harder opponents. If you lose more than 50% of your games, then you're placed with easier opponents. The game doesn't take your elo away because it hates you guys. It's just trying to place you in a position where you're playing against players your own skill level. Try and take your mindset out of a make or break every game. Invest yourself in the long run and not just the very moment that you're in. Losing first blood doesn't mean that you're going to guarantee a loss. Losing a game doesn't mean that you won't win the next. Stop chasing elo and start chasing a way to be a better player than the players that you're playing with. That's how you beat feeders, guys. Not by typing, but with actions. The less you focus on trying hard to win every game and gaining elo as fast as you can, the faster it will happen. The more you focus on playing well, consistently, the faster you will get better at the game. Every time you lose, instead of blaming someone else, ask why couldn't I carry? Why didn't I win my lane? Why did I die X amount of times? Why don't I have more farm? If you lost because your team was caught at Baron, don't blame them. Ask yourself how the game got to a position where that was the defining point in it. Did you not ward enough? Did you not play as well as you could have? If someone says to me, oh, but I won my lane, I got 100 kills, I put down 3,000 wards, but my team was shitters and we still lost, I'd say, yeah, well, that's great. Keep that up and you'll rise in no time. Don't worry about those scrubs that you played with in one game. Just keep playing like that. I touched on this in my earlier video about autofill, but I'll touch on it again. If you're stuck promoting then demoting over and over again, it's because you're earning the right to play against better players and then failing when you do so. You're on the cusp of getting better, but there's something in your way that's holding you back. Don't focus on the negatives around you, only focus on the negatives in your own game. Those are the ones holding you back. The guy who intentionally feeds, fuck that guy. If you win your next 2 games, you'll never have to play with that idiot again, because he's going down and you're going up. The guy who's having a bad game and he's 0-7, he's probably a decent player, and he's going to carry his next game, he's just on tilt. And if he doesn't, who cares? You will, and you'll never have to play with his bronze ass again. Because he's a loser and you're a winner. Winners don't abuse their teammates when they aren't playing well. They bring them up to their level. They pull a Hulk Hogan and tell them to say their prayers and eat their vitamins because they've got this shit. And that's because a winner's back is the biggest back in the world. And there's enough room for everyone, brother. Practicing good habits and understanding your champion is setting yourself up to win. And that's what it's all about. Flaming your teammates and being toxic is only setting yourself up to lose. Not only in the game that you're playing now, but in the long run as well. Because having consistently toxic habits is going to garner you more losses than it does wins. Once again, I'm KJ Brackus and I approve this message. Thanks, guys.